Hello everybody, this is Gregory with How I Lost Over 100 Pounds and have kept it off for 30 plus years, where there should be no hesitance in your weight loss and maintenance. Now, today we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of sandwiches. Now, before we begin, if you need help with weight loss, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. Also, check out my website, which has hundreds of articles and recipes. Most of the recipes are kind of paleo inspired, keeping you away from gluten and dairy and some other kind of inflammatory things, and of course sugar. And I have interesting recipes like cauliflower ice cream and stuff like that. Also, check out my two books, which you can find on Amazon. If you like podcasts, I have The Awakened Man and The Cinema Rag, both of which you can find on Apple and Spotify. Lastly, if you appreciate my content, there is a link for PayPal. So we do have a couple episodes here on like the do's and don'ts with bread, the do's and don'ts with rice, the do's and don'ts with kind of like basic food staples. And certainly sandwiches are basic food staples. Sandwiches you can find in pretty much every corner of the earth, especially in Europe. You'll find people that have sandwiches all the time. And like with all other things, there are certainly do's and don'ts. And one of the things that people don't really realize is that Subway, due to its great advertising, just like kind of the milk industry, is like, where do you get calcium from? The milk. You got to get it from milk. Milk does the body good. Milk mustache. You know, all this program, like there's nowhere else to get calcium and vitamin D but milk. Subway's done a good job of making you believe that their fast food is actually the healthiest. And I would really tell you that it's not, because the problem with sandwiches, and in particular what we put in sandwiches, which is typically deli meats, the problem with deli meats is high consumption of deli meats leads to colorectal cancer, because it's a processed meat similar to hot dogs. The majority of them, not all of them, but the majority of meats that we put in sandwiches, whether it be turkey, bologna, ham, and whatnot, are loaded up with sodium nitrates, and these toxic preservatives, which they typically put in bacon as well, conventional bacon, are directly linked to colorectal cancer. I mean, this is not even questioned. So eating a lot of deli meats overall is not good for you. It'd be better to eat other meat alternatives. That being said, I mean, everybody's eating turkey on Swiss on rye, you know. So let's just talk about sandwiches as it is. So are there better deli meats to eat than others? Well, in terms of like calories and fat, certainly you can find hams and turkeys that are low in fat, but I would tell you fat is not really the culprit in America today. I would tell you it's trans fats and sugars. But in terms of the deli meat, I would tell you the more important thing is to avoid nitrate-laden deli meat. So when you're shopping for deli meats, try to get them as fresh as possible. And it's kind of hard because the whole point of deli meats is that they're super processed, right? It's not like they just slaughtered the pig or the cow recently. I mean, that's the issue with it. It's processed. But try to get ones that aren't loaded up with these toxic preservatives. I would tell you, look, the best way to do a sandwich is, because we could say you can have breadless sandwiches. Like, you know, there was a time where people would go to a burger place and get the breadless burger. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about if you're going to get a burger with bread. If you're going to get a burger with bread, the high grain breads are the best. So 8 grain, 10 grain, like the heavy breads. The heavy ones are going to have more of the complex carbohydrates. Not all carbs are bad. But if we're going to eat carbs, we want to eat more of the complex carbohydrates and not the simple carbohydrates. And if you look at white bread, the conventional white bread, even the conventional wheat bread is just really, if you look at the ingredients, it's just dyed white bread. It's not even truly wheat bread. These are garbage, and these are simple carbs. So if you can kind of control the quality of bread, I would definitely do the higher quality breads, even something like rye. Rye actually does not have gluten if you have a gluten sensitivity, or of course a complete gluten allergy, and you have like something like celiac disease, something like rye. As much as ciabatta bread is great and kind of baguettes are great, that's just kind of white bread. So if you can control the bread, either you're making it at home or you're at a deli, try to go with the heavy, full wheat bread, or a very like 8 grain, 10 grain, 12 grain bread. Now, when it comes to the cheeses are all pretty much the same in terms of their calories and whatnot, so I'm not going to spend too much on that. Look, milk, cows that make milk are shot up with antibiotics. They're shot up with recombinant bovine growth hormones. They're shot up with a lot of things. So ideally, if you can get organic cheese, that's ideal, because the conventional cheese, like the conventional fish, like the conventional chicken, like the conventional vegetables, are just loaded up with so much toxins. Now, what you can put inside the sandwich, I mean, it's not rocket science. That the more vegetables you put in it, the better. If you're going to do tomatoes, I would tell you to get those organic because tomatoes are always very high in the Dirty Dozen list done by the EWG in terms of like pesticide. If you're going to do lettuce, I wouldn't do iceberg lettuce because iceberg lettuce doesn't really have a lot of nutrition. And then, I would put in good quality lettuce, good quality tomatoes if you like tomatoes, good quality onions if you like onions. Some people like to put alfalfa. Some people, if they're not going to do a deli meat, and this is what I would recommend if you're going to do sandwiches, if you like, so I would really just stay away from the deli meats. You don't want to get a colostomy bag later on in your life. I would put stuff like hummus. I would put something like avocado. There's a lot of non-deli meat stuff that you can make as sandwiches. I mean, there's tons of things you can do with sandwiches. I mean, even if you did just something with a lot of vegetables and cheese and bread, I would let's say you panini it, I think that'd be better than doing a lot of deli meat. That being said, eating sandwiches, even having a sandwich for lunch daily isn't gonna make you fat, okay? But this channel is also about not just weight loss, weight maintenance, but it's also about like just reducing toxins in your life. So if you can reduce the deli meats in your life, this would be ideal. And I would stick to more of the superfoods, the foods that are more nutrient dense, like avocado and even something like hummus with lots of vegetables and a whole grain bread. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care. God bless and pray.